I just want to run for a quick idea of how I close, not sell, how I close, because there's a difference between just wanting to sell somebody into the program compared to wanting to actually help the person on the other side. So I'm going to hide this person's identity, I'm going to hide the voice. The reason for that is because the discovery is quite deep. He was a really, really good guy. I can imagine he's experiencing a tremendous amount of success inside of the program now. So I'm going to run you through a lot of the things that I do. What I see with a lot of reps is they end up not listening to what the person's saying. I don't use a script, ever. The reason I don't use a script because the most important part of a call is actually listening to what the person is telling you and what they're giving you. So in my conversations, I look for a very specific word that somebody would bring up, and I navigate the conversation based on that specific word. Why? Because there is a reason that they're bringing that word up. There is a reason they're bringing that to the conversation. So I want to dig into that and find out why. A lot of my conversations don't end in objections typically, unless it comes down to the money side of things. That is it. Why? Because I genuinely understand and appreciate what the person is telling me and help them with my solution. So I'll run you through this call. This is the type of stuff that I teach my people, I coach my people on to be able to do and actually provide, produce, so that they can actually have the best possible outcomes in their conversations. So I'll run through this with you. I won't share the end of the call. This client ends up paying in full. I won't share the end of the call, but if you watch to the end, you'll see a very specific moment where he is triggered, but I'll explain why. So if you wait to the end, you'll be able to see that, and you'll be able to see how I navigate through that. What I'm sick and tired of seeing is people just run like a very surface level basic discovery. It's never going to get anybody over the line, right? You need to, this point in this call is a conversation that somebody's never ever had before in their entire fucking lives. So the idea is you putting them under the spotlight so that they genuinely make a change. Because if you're just going to have a surface level conversation, it's just the same shit that they have with everybody else, right? They're not paying you 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 10,000, 11,000, 20,000, whatever the fuck it is, just to have a nice conversation. They're investing so that they can make a change, and they want to know that the person on the other end of the phone is the person that can get them there, and that's fucking you. So what you genuinely need out of a conversation is to understand where somebody's at, where they want to go, what are the limitations that has stopped them from pursuing it, why has it not happened. You want to get them to take ownership of everything that they've done in X amount of time and why it's not served them to get them to where they want to go. So once you break down their behaviors, their limitations, their habits, their mindset, their beliefs, all of the above, you now have the most leverage in the conversation to get them over the line. So this gets into a pretty deep conversation. There may be a couple of things that I would have changed as it was a couple of months ago, and I've switched a couple of things up. But I'm just going to show you how deep you can get into a conversation to get somebody out of their own fucking way. Okay, cool. Welcome to the call, Ralph. I believe you've always been speaking with my partner, Sean. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Typically, he sends a video prior to the call. Did you watch the video?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, so do you get a general idea of what we're actually doing and how we help in some way?
Mm-hmm.
The idea of this call, Ralph, obviously, to break down the program, help you understand how it works. You can ask any questions you like. The way I prefer to do this is to get an understanding of where you're at, where you genuinely want to go, okay? So in terms of that, in your opinion, what's the biggest reason you're looking to make money with TikTok Shop right now? Right, so the opening question, this is a big thing. In your opinion, in this motherfucker's opinion, what's the biggest reason why he's here? You're looking to make more money. Why am I saying this? Because it's going to take out the wishy-washy nonsense of, I just want to make more money, right? And then right now, I'm setting the tone of this being right now, not tomorrow, not next year, not last year, not in 10 years, right now.
I mean, like I could start trying to get out of the 9-to-5 grind and just trying to like make extra cash, and if it goes successfully, then we scale from there, right?
If or when it goes successfully.
Excuse me?
If or when it goes successfully.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Just challenging from the get-go, if or when it goes successfully.
No, that's what I'm getting at, when. Like, it's more when. Oh, when,
No, that's what I'm getting at. It's like, you kind of mentioned if it goes successfully, but my point of view is like, when it does go successfully, then scale from there. Do you get what I mean? So it's just like a change of language. It doesn't matter. What is it you do now?
I'm in supply chain, I'm a buyer.
Okay. How long have you been doing that? So I'm going to get into his current situation and then how long he's been doing that. Why am I getting into how long? Because it gets me an understanding of how long he's been settling for and how long he's been in his current mindset or belief system. Because if he's been in it for over a year, 2 years, 3 years, like that typically shows me that he struggles with change.
9 years.
Okay. What is it specifically that's making you kind of want to transition out of it?
I don't know. I mean, I got divorced like 5 years ago, and I'm just ready to just live, I guess. I don't know, be more independent of working for someone else.
Okay. How long have you felt like that?
The reason I'm asking that is because he's been in the job for 9 years, so how long has he felt like that?
What's that?
How long would you say you've actually felt like that?
I mean, naturally I'm a hustler, I used to, sell other things. I've always had that mindset. Actually, I played poker professionally for a few years, so I was doing that for at least 6 years. And
Was that before? Was that before or during the job?
I mean, I still do it part time now.
Okay, sure.
So, I've always had that, that hustle in me, So it's not like I'm new to this. It's not like I've been doing 9 to 5 for the whole life. I've been doing all kinds of different things. And when I got married, I decided to just, hunker down and try to be normal,
Okay, so see here, this is something big that I'm going to pick on. So he used to be a hustler. He had a wife and then he settled down, right? So what I'm picking up there is what he did in the past used to make him more money because he settled down. That took him away from his identity of being a hustler, and he tried something new. And because he got divorced, I'm assuming something happened there. So I'm definitely digging into that.
The normal person.
Sure, yeah. What is it that made you want to do that when you got married?
See, now I'm asking, what is it that made him want to just hunker down and settle when he got married?
Mostly my wife, kind of made me stop chasing the dream,
Okay. How did that feel?
Right. Well, I'm asking, how did that feel? Because he used to be a hustler. He brought that up for a specific reason. He used to be a hustler. He used to be the guy that made a ton of money. And then he got married, right? When she made him stop chasing his dream, how did that feel to him?
Restrained. Like I felt restrained, from doing from trying to be bigger than what life was at that moment, trying to but I just kind of just put my head down, just try to get through it.
What do you mean, post marriage or during the marriage? Like you just kind of put your head in, just kind of push through it. What do you mean by that?
There was a lot of things going on. I had my eldest son passed away.
Sure.
I have another son that I'm raising. She had her own daughter. We're kind of a blended family.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things going on that made me just say, what, let me just do what I have to do to provide. Sure. So I didn't have time to learn other skills or anything like that, or look into a side hustle or anything.
Sure. Okay. I'm sorry to hear about your son. I'm just a stranger, but I know I can't imagine that was easy. So you had the divorce 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried anything else? I know you're playing poker. Have you tried anything else to learn new skills then?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
I've been really focused on the company I work for now is kind of a startup, so they're trying to go public. So there's all different things I'm hoping for this company. So that's why I've been really focused on it. I have stock options, so I'm trying to hopefully we get bought out. My options become something, and then I could use that money to try to do other things, side things, right? So and now I'm just kind of getting impatient. So now I'm trying to really jump into just go ahead and do it. I have the time because I'm working from home most of the time. I have flexibility to put in 3, 4, 5 hours a day on something else.
Sure. What's causing you to be impatient?
So he mentioned he's getting impatient. Why is he getting impatient? What is the impatience? Typically, why I'm asking that is because something triggered recently that's caused him to be impatient. So I need to understand that because that's the urgency behind this.
I'm getting older. I'm 41 now.
Okay.
My son's gonna go to college in a couple of years. I'm gonna need the extra money, so I need to start doing something.
What actually changed up? Because let's be honest, we're always getting older, and I can't imagine that's something new to you.
Why am I challenging that? Because it isn't nothing new, right? He knows he's getting older. Everybody knows they're getting older. Every day you get older, right? So what's actually changed?
What actually changed that caused you to be way more impatient as opposed to the past 5 years? Was there a specific? Typically there is. I know there was one for me. Was there a specific, frustration point when you kind of realised I should be more than this? I know I deserve more.
Hold on, let me
You okay?
Now we're getting into a real conversation. Why? Because he's getting the fuck up. He's getting out of his chair. Now we're about to go head to head. Look at him.
Not to dig too deep into personal, but
Look at his body language. Look at his body language. He's all over the show now, right? Because we're about to have an honest conversation.
I started doing drugs.
Sure. Okay.
Just to,
No judgmental. No judgment from my side. I would completely understand his son passed away. He got divorced. So I want to truly understand what's actually. I want to appreciate him, and I also respect him, not for turning to drugs, but for obviously taking it on the chin and trying to get through life. So no judgment from this side, but now we're about to dig into something deep.
Sure. Okay.
Just to, just like because of
Look how
my son and
look how hesitant he is to tell me it, because he's embarrassed, right? But I understand why he would have done it.
boys, you kind of just start spiraling a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
And some days you're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
When was that?
That's really just what that.
When was that? When you kind of looked at yourself and said, "What the fuck am I doing?"
See, when was that date when you looked at yourself in the mirror and said, "What the fuck am I actually doing?" That was more than likely another low point in his life.
A couple months ago.
Okay.
Just chilling at the house and getting off from work and then buying a bag and just start going in and you're like and you start thinking, you're just like, what am I really doing? Like, is this gonna be the rest of my life? Is this what I want to do? Or should I be more productive? Whatever I can do.
Okay. What kind of drugs were you doing, if you don't mind me asking?
Just the normal coke.
Just the normal coke, motherfucker.
Okay. How often was that?
Every week, once a week.
Okay. So that was a couple of months ago.
And I stopped since then, just to clear my mind and just really focus on trying to figure out what I want to do. Right.
Okay. What is it you want? How are you feeling now?
Like we're really ready to learn skill and try to grow financially as a person. Just try to get out of that mental slump that I'm in. Right.
Do you feel like you're still in that mental slump, or is it something you're still working on?
No, I mean, I can be disciplined if I wanted to, but I just didn't have that motivation for a while, and then just now your family and friends can tell you what the fuck are you doing, or why are you going down that path, right? But unless you say it to yourself,
sure,
and get yourself out of it, you're not gonna get out of it. Anyone else can.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't, telling is selling, right? You can't tell somebody something because it's not going to get them out the wrong way. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. So nobody can tell you. Your job isn't to tell them, it's to question them, to get them to realise.
Anyone else can keep telling you and being on you, but if you don't want to get out of it, then you're not going to get out of it. That's what I tried to do for myself. Let me start going back to the gym. Let me start doing this. Let me start, actually motivating yourself to do it. And
sure.
What I kind of did.
Where do you want to see yourself? What do you vision? What's your idea of success with something like this, an online business?
I mean, I live in California, San Francisco.
Okay.
I make almost $200K, and I'm still living check to check just because things are so expensive.
Okay. How often are you living check to check?
Most days. I mean, it's a weird situation. After I got divorced, my dad passed away. So my mom, she's elderly. She's in her 80s already. So I moved back in with my mom to help her pay the mortgage. So I'm paying for the mortgage. I have a son. I have, I have sisters that help too. So it's just a whole bunch of stuff,
How come you bear all that responsibility?
Setting a responsibility frame. See, now he can't give me any sort of partner objection here. That's why I'm putting this into place. I'm the man of the house, right? So if he tries to give me any sort of partner objection, I know he's divorced, but anything along those lines, passing anything on externally, that's gone, right? Because he's the man of the house.
I'm the man of the house. I have two sisters. My dad, that's just the way my family was, It's just the way it is.
Yeah. It's tough. Fortunately, as men, we kind of have to bear that.
Yeah.
What do you want to be making? So you're making 200 grand a year now. What do you want to make?
Well, it's close to 200 grand. Well, that's including bonuses. So yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to, if I can make close to 28 a month, and that'll be great. That'll be a good start, right?
You total. Sure. Total. Yeah. What would be different at 20K compared to how it is now? With an online business, of course.
What was the question? Sorry.
What would be different for you personally at 20 grand a month with an online business to the way it is now?
I mean, just seeing, just if you're seeing a little bit of progress, for me at least, that can spark big things, I mean, growing up, I was an athlete and I was really competitive. So, and I've always had really good discipline as a kid. And that's, another thing that actually sparked it was watching the Olympics. I did Taekwondo, martial arts, right? Since I was 5 years old. I was going to be on the Olympic team the first year Taekwondo was going to be in the Olympics. I trained for that, and I got hurt, and I wasn't able to. So watching the Olympics, that's what kind of also made me like remember who I was.
Sure.
And then looking in the mirror, and you're looking at yourself, and you're like, oh, that was fucking 20 years ago. What did I do in 20 years? And then you start thinking about what the things that you've accomplished. And there's some good things, you know. There's some good years where I was happy, and content's a bad word for me, because I mean, content, you're always gonna being content always, for me at least, it stops progress for some reason. People start regressing after that, because you're like, you know, okay, well, I'm making good money and whatever, and now you start relaxing, and then shit starts to slide, right? So yeah, I mean, that's one of the other things. So 20K total, or even more, is a good start. And then, I mean, after you start making that extra money and you start seeing the progress, it sparks a little bit more of a fire under you, right? And then you start, you know, let's see how much more I can go. Let's take it to the next level. Let's, you know, and scale it or whatever, right? So just any little progress will definitely spark me to you know, to push the potential, right?
What is your potential?
What's that?
What is your potential? Because it's not 20K a month, clearly. What is it? Don't tell me sky's the limit. Don't say that. What is it? What is your potential?
How did this, see again, don't tell me sky's the limit. It's just making sure he doesn't give me shit. I have a pretty strong frame in this call now. I'm not asking that many questions, but I'm not saying much. But the questions that I am asking, they are landing hard enough that he talks most of the call.
What do you believe you deserve?
I mean,
realistically,
I think I could do 100K a month. I mean, I know numbers, you know, like that's what I do. I buy and plan inventory for the company, right?
Sure.
So I mean, and I'm on socials, so I see the numbers. I see people's engagement in different platforms. So you're seeing, like, if you're able to touch just 10% of a market, that's a lot of money, right? 1% of a certain market, that's a lot of money. If you can just capture that 1% of a, you know, that's basically it.
Okay.
And put your conversion rate, right?
Sure.
Conversion rate on whatever number you're touching. So I mean,
you want to be
100K is feasible.
Okay, sure. You want to be at 100 grand a month, right? Complete fine. Well, how does life compare different at 100 grand a month compared to the way it is now?
Way different. Not having that worry.
So that question, it creates an enemy versus the life he has now versus the life that he desires.
Or you know, like, just being able to be, you'll have more time to do things, you know, to
what about things? That's just vague. That's just a vague surface level. What are things?
See, I'm not accepting that. That's just vague surface level. What happens?
What are things that you feel like you can't do now that you want to do at 100 grand a month?
I mean,
because you want to break free from the 9 to 5, correct?
Right.
Why is that?
Yes. Why is that? I mean, I don't know. I just want to be able to travel, do things with my son, pay off this house that my mom lives in. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of different things. I mean,
okay. How long have you wanted to do that?
I don't know, like, since forever.
How long's forever?
At least 15 years. Right?
Okay. Do you feel like with the way you've kind of stayed content in the past, it's cost you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
How does that genuinely feel? You've had some times, of course, like you genuinely you've had good times in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's being content, it's fine. But if you feel you deserve more, then you know that it's cost you more.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It has cost me a lot more. Time for sure. I mean, like, if I would have just took more risk earlier on and stayed content, I could have accomplished more, done more, traveled more, done more things that I've liked in those 15 years, right?
Sure.
Than me now looking back and seeing that I haven't accomplished more, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of like, you know,
knowing that, would you even be ready to take a risk on now? Because if you've kind of hesitated on risk in the past, what would be different for you personally now?
You know, I don't.
This is like a why now, but it's not just a why now. What it is we know now that he's had bad behaviours. He's hesitated in the past on taking risks. What would even be different now?
I don't have anyone breathing down my neck like my life, right? I'm more free to take the risk. I mean, like I said, my son's almost in college, so he's my only real responsibility besides my mom. So there's no better time than now, right? I think.
There was yesterday, there was last year, there was 15 years ago.
Slight slap.
There was just a lot going on. Too much going on. I couldn't really focus.
Life will always give you that.
Yeah.
Life, there will always be a lot going on, there'll probably be a lot going on tomorrow. But it's just kind of setting the standard of like...
Whoa, look at that. This was 3 months ago, setting a standard of what you feel like you deserve, right? Because life's always going to get in the way. That's the point in being an entrepreneur. It's always going to throw you challenges, put obstacles in the way, but it's setting a tone of how committed you are to getting to where you want to go.
What it is that you genuinely want, what you feel you deserve, and obviously just putting your best foot forward every single day to make it happen.
Right.
The biggest thing for me is just put all of that aside, like what was going on, things are going. What is different now that you would step out of your comfort zone in a well-paid job and actually push for your potential and take a risk this time? What is actually different?
You didn't answer my question, so I'm going straight back to the question again.
Right. I think that is one of the. It's a simple fucking reason is that now that I'm working from home, I do have a lot more time. I'm able to. I wake up at 4:30, get all my work done, and by like 1 o'clock I'm done.
Okay, so when you're done,
I do have more time to.
Okay. How long have you had more time for? Would you say? So let's say you start at 4 a.m. You finish at 1 p.m. Is that what you said?
Most days, yeah.
Okay. How long have you had that going on? How long has that just been the routine?
Right. Why I'm asking this because that's a good amount of time to have. What is he doing in those extra hours that what is he not doing that he should be fucking doing in those extra hours?
I don't know, 10 months.
Okay. In those 10 months, let's say you finish at 1 p.m. What are you doing to make 100 grand a month? Honest question. I want you to be honest.
I'm telling him I want him to be honest.
What have I been doing?
Yeah. So what have you done to
literally nothing or playing poker?
Why nothing? Why would you be doing nothing if you want to get to 100 grand a month?
That's why I had that moment where I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Okay, I appreciate an honest answer. Because it's a big step.
That's what got me to that point.
Sure.
Now you're looking. First, you look at the first one. Kind of cool, just to be able to sit around and do nothing, right?
Sure.
And then you look back another 6 more months before that, and you're like, well, I could have been doing this, and then your wheels start turning, and you're just like, well, what the fuck am I really doing? And then start going through socials, and that's where I followed Sean for a while already, right? So, and that's where I was like, well, let's see if I can do something. And then I was just, there's a bunch of different people that advertise their program or their style or their business, and Sean was just the only one that kind of like that I felt like I connected with, right? So.
What happens? I know because you said you've looked at things and said like, what have I actually done, and felt a level of regret. What happens if you stay content? What happens if you stay comfortable and you just stick to what your comfort zone for the next 10 years? What does life look like at that point?
10 years older and more regret, I guess.
Why am I moving on to cost of inaction here? Because he put it into the conversation. There doesn't have to be a specific framework when you do these things. I'm using cost of inaction here because he put it there, right? He's been content, he's looked at things, he's hesitated. What happens if that actually continues?
I don't know, yeah, I don't think I'd be happy. If I'm not happy now at 41, looking back at what happened, how much more disappointed would I be at 51?
You tell me, how much more disappointed would you be?
I'd be fucking, I think I'd be devastated. I think I'd be fucking, I don't know, I think I'd be, I don't know. Yeah, I'll be upset, I think.
Okay.
That's quite a heavy cost of inaction. Like, I'd be fucking devastated, right? We don't need to sit too long in there because he'd literally be devastated. So I know he's not going to settle for that, and he's not going to allow himself to fucking stay complacent.
But the other side of it is you step out of your comfort zone, right?
What we're going to do now is this guy is in a lot of pain, he's in a lot of struggles, and his self-esteem is probably fairly low. So we're going to big him up here. We're going to give him a bit of a pump so that he actually puts himself in a positive mindset and not just constantly sitting in the negative. Because if you put somebody down so hard, they're not even going to move forward because they feel so shameful and just disappointed in themselves that they don't even have the courage to move forward anymore.
Would you agree, right? The mindset, the actions, the decisions we've taken up until this point are the exact reason why we are where we are.
Mm.
And would you 100% say you are 100% satisfied with where you are right now? Honest answer.
No.
Okay. So the same decisions, the same mindset, and the same actions that have put you here today, do you want those same mindset, that same decisions to dictate your future moving forward, or do you actually want to make a change so you can become a different person?
I do actually want to make change.
Identity shift, right? We're taking the actions, the decisions, the mindset that he's had up until this point. They put him in this position where he's less than 100% satisfied. Does he want them to continue, or does he want to actually make a change? Shift.
Okay. So we put you in a vehicle, right? You actually have 100 grand a month business online completely. Have access to your own freedom, your own time, your own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
you're able to travel with your son, right? Actually spend genuine time with him and not have to feel that level of worry about money. What would that actually mean for you to know that you've accomplished that?
When you actually have the recipe to do that, then now I even feel better because now I can I can pass it on to my son, right? And give him that mindset earlier on, and show him that mindset earlier on, and those what do we call that? I'm sure he's gonna. It'll just make me feel better that I can show him that what taking these risks or being driven.
See, these are the kind of values that the values, the beliefs he wants to be able to show his son. This is fucking huge. This is massive, right? So at any given point, at the end of the call, if he gives me any objections, it's like, what kind of values do you want to be able to show your son? What kind of beliefs, what kind of actions, what kind of risks you want to be able to show your son that you can take?
Do for a person, and he can learn those things earlier on from me, you know. And then that would make me feel way better than I could die probably. I think.
You think so? Yeah. So if we put you in a position, right, you're an online business and you genuinely have it, you're at 100 grand a month, let's say at bare minimum you're around 30 grand a month, right? Would you see that as a personal win for yourself? If we put you in that position, would you see that? Yes,
of course. That would be a total win. I mean, any progress will drive a person. For me, at least, like I said, it'll drive you to be more. I see the potential there. I'll see the potential, and then I'll just fucking go crazy, and I'll just scale from there.
So you have two options here now. We always have options and decisions to take. The person you want to become, okay, the life you don't want for the next 10 years, and you just don't want to feel that level of regret. Which one do you genuinely want at this moment in your life?
The person I want to become, of course.
Well, you say of course. I mean, everybody wants to be that person, but a lot of people betray their actions with the words. Do you know what I mean by that? What do you think happens to people that just betray their actions with the word? Their actions with the words?
They just revert back to their comfort zone.
Sure. Now, even with change, because I'll show you what we do and how we help, but even
what I'm doing here, right?
If you feel like
this is very, very good when you know somebody's pretty fearful, when you know somebody's been hesitant in the past. I set this tone. So even if you feel like we can help, right? Whether you like it or not, there's still going to be some. I do this every time before I pitch this. There's still going to be some resistance to change. Fear will creep in. Doubt will creep in, anxiety, uncertainty, all those things will kick in the moment when it's time to take the step. What is it you're going to do to make sure that those emotions don't actually stop you from moving forward and control you anymore, right? Because what happens is at the end of the call, when they feel those level of emotions, they can be open about it, and you can literally remind them of why they're doing this. So you're already creating that hook of, okay, we spoke about this earlier, I was going to feel those emotions. What is the reason that I'm actually here?
I can help. Right, this program can actually help you. There's going to be a resistance to change. There's going to be probably fear that likes to creep in, as with anything in life, uncertainty and anxiety. What are you going to do if you feel like we can help to control those emotions so that you don't?
Well, it actually depends on what you present.
Okay, so here we go. This created a little bit of friction, but based on the conversation we've had so far, I don't give a fuck, and I'm just going to stand my ground.
Sure. Right? You're asking all these questions right now, which is totally fine. But until you show me what the hell you're doing, of course I'm not going to know. I can be gung-ho all the way through, right? But if you're going to tell me, okay, well, fucking jumping off a cliff is going to fucking I'll give you $1 million right now if you jump off the cliff. Of course I'm not going to do it, right? Unless you're going to tell me what you're actually doing. I can't answer any more questions. I can't keep going with this.
Okay.
So I'm not being offensive. I'm not trying to be aggressive.
Sit in silence and just let him overcome his own nonsense, right? It's nothing to do with me. This is something that he's struggling with, like in his own internal self. So you just sit there and be silent and let him deal with his own bullshit.
With you, you're asking me a question like, okay, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, but actually, just keep going. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
What was that for?
Huh?
What was that for?
No. What I'm saying is
What I'm saying is, I've been where you're at.
Okay.
I've been in a position where I was dead broke as a 9-to-5er. There's uncertainty when you take a change to do anything, right?
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, if you genuinely feel like I can fucking help with what I present, right, and I want an honest answer on that, and you feel those level of emotions, right, I want an honest answer so we can see how we can figure this out, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. If you don't feel like I'm here to help, then we can end this conversation here. But I feel like that was a little bit unnecessary because I'm only here to do so.
That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to be aggressive. I was responding to the way you were asking the question.
It's fine. Look.
So that's what we want out of a conversation. We want the clear gap, but we want the biggest reason why he stopped himself in in whatever amount of years, and you want to dig into what kind of beliefs he has, why he's no longer willing to have those beliefs, and then most important part of this conversation was the values he wants to be able to show his son, right? Probably what I would have changed right there is that the kind of behaviour you want to be able to show your son, what you just give me now? But this guy was just like a clear pair for any objections he ever give me, like it would have been nonsense. There is a video in the call where it's just like, he gives me a think about it, and I'm just like, are you serious? And he just ends up paying. So that's how deep you need to go in a conversation and really get somebody out their own fucking way. Look at this. This is when you have an honest conversation with someone. This is what fucking happens.
I would hate to see you allow that to continue.
I actually give you 6,200 for the therapy today.
I would actually give you 6,200 for the fucking therapy today.
Let me ask you this. Before we went into explaining what we do, what was that about?
What was that statement?
So before I went into what we actually do, what was that actually about?
I don't know.
Where did it come from?
Something just, I think it was just the way you asked the question, I think. That kind of triggered something. I don't know what it was, but I don't know, like I felt like you were kneeling for some reason. I don't know.
No, so the reason the reason I asked that question is because everybody's resistant to change. Whether you have, a new child, you buy a new house, you move somewhere, all of those things are very resistant. And
Right.
when you show resistance, then you never make a change and you end up going around in circles. So I just wanted to make sure, when you felt that, what is it you were going to do to control that resistance?
I mean, naturally I'm a hothead, naturally.
I can tell that.
And I have a really big Napoleon complex, right? I'm like, I'm 5'6", always been the short guy, so I've always been a tough person. But all the life-changing events that I've just gone through in the past 8 years, I check myself all the time. That's why I stop myself and I'm like, hold on, let him explain before I put my foot in my mouth. Right? So you get older, you get more mature, you start checking yourself on certain things. Even though, like I said, I went into a dark place, no one's gonna get me out unless I want to get out, right? So, yeah, I mean, I just try to check myself and keep myself accountable on the things that I say or do, and if I apologize if I offended you. Like I said, I wasn't trying to offend you. It was just something that just you press the button.
There you go. Motherfucker apologised because he had the clear understanding that I was there to fucking help. It was his own internal issues that caused that trigger. It wasn't me, this motherfucker, right? But that's how you need to get somebody in a deep conversation, have an honest conversation, and stop letting them get in their own fucking way. Peace out. Hopefully that didn't bore you to death. I apologise if it did. But if you made it all the way through, appreciate you. Let me know if there's any takeaways, anything you feel like will help you answer your own calls. Just a general insight to how I close, how I teach people to close, how I teach people to get better and do better in their own calls and outside of their own sales calls. If you're now in a position where you want to understand what it takes internally and externally to take 20, 30, 40, 50k months, I would be happy to help. Drop some comments if this actually did help, how it helped. And if you ever need anything from me, I'll leave a link below so that you can personally reach out and you can raise any questions or concerns you may have on how I can help. But other than that, appreciate you dropping in. Stay tuned for more.